Hey everybody, welcome to Staff Connections. I'm your host, Bill Culp. Keep it real simple here. We talk to those who are working in your district every single day, making things happen. Why? Because you matter, and guess what? They matter. And today, joining me, I'm real happy, is Jason Kerkusz. How you doing there, Jason?
Doing great.
That's awesome, dude. Woo! The champ is here! You think you're the champ there, Kerkusz? Well, guess what? You want to try to take these bad boys away from me, Kerkusz? You better step it up! Woo! A little WWE there action for you. Because I know you like to wrestle. You're a big wrestler. You're a
Just
tough
a
guy.
little bit. Just a little bit.
All right, well, let's take us back there. How long have you been wrestling, by the way? It's been a long time.
For a long time. Almost 40 years.
That's unbelievable.
40 years.
And what do you like about wrestling, by the way? Because that's a lifer. If you're a wrestler,
doubt.
you're a lifer.
Once you've wrestled everything else in life is easy, as the great Dan Gable once said. I just always like the one-on-one competition, the preparation, being able to step out on the mat, wrestling your opponent who's the same weight as you, and you against him. You don't have to rely on anybody else.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. All right, so how many years have you been here at Kutztown? Or excuse me, at Springford? I want to say Kutztown.
Oh, this is
Jumped
my
ahead.
24th year. 24th year here in the district.
Now, what's changed? What do you think's changed in 24 years?
This district has changed significantly. It's grown a lot. When
yeah.
I started here, I started actually in this building, and at the time it was under a massive construction. And just to look at numbers, it was a 6th, 7th, and 8th building. So now we're just an 8th grade building, and there's schools all over the district now that weren't here when I started. The new high school was just a cornfield at the time, so it's changed drastically.
All right, so what do you love about teaching every day? You're an art teacher, so what do you love about it every day?
I love working with the kids. I love teaching art. I love building confidence amongst my students, breaking things down and seeing them overachieve. I mean, I have them for one marking period, so I'll see them for 45 straight days, and there's a period of growth that it's pretty interesting.
Well, with art, it's like one of those things. You know, you think about spelling, you either have it or you don't. How frustrating is it? If you've got somebody who just can't flat out draw, how hard is it to teach them, in a sense, to be a good artist or just have a love for art?
Well, we try to take it in a step-by-step process here. Like, we'll break it down, show them what they need to do. One of the things we do in 8th grade, we spend a lot of time on drawing. And just to be able to look at something and relate it to basic shapes. And the sketching process, sketching lightly, seeing the basic shapes, forming things up, adding a different side, maybe a curved edge, and then going back and adding the details. And that's what makes the project start to develop. And then we add some type of technique to try to bring it to life.
All right, now you got sort of like an original background here, because you kind of mentioned, I read there, mom's a really good artist. Because usually, let's be honest, usually you don't see a tough guy, a wrestler, this and that, being an art major. So is that where you kind of like develop? What age would you say, I really like this art thing?
I would say at a young age, elementary school. It was one thing, my mother, she'd always spend free time sitting down and drawing just about everything and anything. And I loved cartoons. I will say that was one of my biggest inspirations.
So
good old-fashioned Yosemite Sam. Bloodthirstiest, shoot 'em firstiest, doggone worstiest. He was a big influence. But, the Droopy, the Tom and Jerry's, just the animation, that went behind all that, and the slapstick humor.
Yeah. Did you copy it, or like
constantly?
Sketchbooks,
doodling. I talked to the
sketches,
kids a lot. That was one of the things. When my teachers were talking, I was listening, but I was always sketching them and just constantly doodling, developing the skills.
That's awesome. You said you got your work ethic from your dad, right? You said
Yes.
dad's a hard worker. So what did he do?
He worked in a factory, so I was born. Wasn't part of the plan. I was born right out of high school, and he had to go get a job, and he worked hard his entire life because he, wanted good things for me and my two sisters, and his work ethic was was inspiring to me.
Yeah, and you said you kind of got some inspiration, like one of the things you like to do, you like to work with your hands and things like that, so some landscaping.
Oh.
What else do you enjoy doing when you're not inside school?
No, anything and everything. I mean, I'm one of those people that, anything around the house. And we live in a world where you can jump on your device and YouTube something, and I'll watch it several times, whether it's crown molding or, redoing something, within the house, a bathroom. I try to do it myself.
What's probably the best thing you've ever done yourself that you did? You feel accomplished that you've done at home?
I'll say my hardscape out in my backyard, because I was one of those stubborn people. I could have rented a backhoe, but I dug out a hill, shovel by shovel, dumped lots of earth in the side woods, and I was able to put that thing together. Took a whole summer to do.
That's pretty neat, though. You did it
So-
with your hands. Now, people watching probably are going to be like calling you up. You're going to have some of your
not at
teachers
all.
and things like that asking you to do a summer project. I could use a new addition.
Nah, I don't know about that. I said after I was done with my mother-in-law's, I was retired. But Doug Landis, him and we worked with his cousin one summer doing hardscape, and that's one thing that I always tell kids, you can learn so much by watching, and doing that job. We were laborers carrying blocks all summer long. I was always asking questions. Well, what would you do here? What would you do there? We worked with Glenn Clark, and at the time it was CNC Landscaping, but that came in handy because it saved me a lot of money.
Yeah, it does save you a lot of money.
Saves
All right,
you a
so besides teaching, art and things like that, you've been involved. So you said you started out baseball coach, ninth grade baseball, and then how long did you do that, and then
I
wrestling?
did
When
that for a
come
couple
about?
years. It was funny because Mr. Harrison, now the high school head baseball coach, was student teaching at the time, and the position opened up, and hey, why don't you do it? I'll help you out. So I ended up putting my name in, got the job, and sure enough, he did help me out, and it was a fun little run. And then the high school position opened up. I became an assistant for wrestling when Coach Nugent stepped down to become a principal, and Seislav got the job, and I assisted him for 16 years. And then along the way, I was coaching football at the time as a ninth grade assistant, and I've been the head coach of that ever since. So I'd say well over 20 years I've put a lot of time and effort into coaching.
So you said in 40 years of wrestling, this and that. So going back, one of your accomplishments outside of school, you were an All-American at Kutztown University.
Long time ago.
Yeah,
Junior
how
year.
awesome is that?
That was pretty cool.
Now, did you get a phone call, or was it just an article? What happened?
As far as
Like finding out, like you were an All-American.
no, you compete. I competed at that time. My junior year, I made it to the NCAA Division II championships. It was in Kearney, Nebraska, and I competed in that tournament. Was finished with an eighth place finish.
That's pretty good.
So senior
people-
year wasn't as
I don't
good as
know.
I wanted it to be, but
I don't know if you remember, but we did square off one time. I don't know if you remember this.
must have been a long time
At
ago.
Kutztown, yeah, but I have some video. Well, I don't know why this is not working right here.
How's that passcode coming?
Yeah, I don't know. I must have messed up my passcode. Let's see. Let's see here. I got our wrestling match here. Oh, where is it here? It is right here. So you just take a look. They're going to play this, I believe. Let's see. Here we go. I don't know if you remember this. Remember me pinning you like that?
Not at all.
You don't remember that?
Not at all.
Clear as day in my mind. All American schmerican. Well, eighth place, I was top three. That's probably why you don't remember it. All right, so art major, I got some. You knew I was going to bring something for you.
No.
I got some art pictures here. I want to see how many you can name here. If you can give me the artist or the picture. Go ahead.
Van Gogh, Starry Night.
It's pretty good for a wrestler.
American Gothic, Grant Wood. That would be Hopper. Big on contrast, the darks and the lights. Talk a lot about him.
It's pretty good.
I'm gonna say that's Impressionism, Cezanne.
I think that is Van Gogh. It's like a.
That's not a Van Gogh. That's
You're
a Van
probably
Gogh. The Scream, Monk.
That's true.
Oh, one of my favorites, Salvador Dali, Persistence of Memory.
Very good.
Surratt.
You ever meet a girl like that? Sunday. She's a looker.
That was. I don't think it was Grant Wood. That was drawing a blank.
Give me a clue.
Got me.
Whistler. Whistler's mother.
Keith
You
Haring,
should know this.
Kutztown
There you go.
University.
So I threw it in there.
Renee Magritte,
Very good.
Andy Warhol, Bill Culp,
That's my daughter. How dare you? You just insulted her.
the Mona Lisa.
The Mona Lisa.
Talk a lot about, that was one of the rare pieces that he finished, Leonardo da Vinci.
Wasn't it really small, by the way, the Mona
No,
Lisa? It's
not
like
that
it's really
small.
tiny. It wasn't. It actually, I heard, didn't become popular until it was stolen. It wasn't that popular of a piece until it got
No,
stolen.
it was one of the rare ones that he ever finished.
Yeah, very good. Very good. All right. So do you do that at home? Do you ever draw and still sketch?
Constantly.
Now you mentioned as a dream job you'd love to be in art animation if
Oh,
you're
would love
teaching.
it.
Like what would you like? Walt Disney? Would you be perfect
Oh,
for that?
absolutely. I mean, my kids love going to Disney World, and we try to go as much as we can. And we were actually out there this summer in California, where it all started. And believe this when I say it, we have a young lady who sat right in this class who works for Disney in the graphic design department. But just that would be an awesome job. I look at how those cartoons have come together and all the people that were responsible for, the background sketches, the character developments, the voiceovers.
That
All
would be
kinds
cool,
of
though.
cool things.
Yeah, it would be
Absolutely.
cool. That's a lot of work, though. You think about all those, every little millisecond.
Yeah, but the
that
reward
goes
is
to
seeing
that.
it all come together.
Yeah, that's true.
Seeing it all come together, and to know that was a piece I was responsible for, had a hand in.
Gotcha. All right. Now, what's probably art animation your favorite you've ever seen, or artists that you ever seen draw, or that you've captured, or little short videos, or anybody that captures your attention with art of animation?
Well, I'll say this. I think the computer animation in this day and age is pretty
Pixar.
spectacular. The Pixar stuff, and
Yeah.
knowing that John Lasseter, who was a key part of Pixar, was fired by Disney because he wanted to bring that computer-generated imagery to the company, and then to be hired back. But his stuff is pretty fantastic. My son loves the Cars series.
Oh
So,
yeah, the Pixar.
Pretty cool stuff.
Pretty cool. You went to, real quick, you went to Allentown. You grew up in Allentown, that area. So one of those unique things is, would you play against The Rock?
Did my junior year.
Does he say I play against Jason Kerkusz?
No,
or
he
do you
doesn't say that. He
You don't think
forgot
he
who
does?
I was.
You lit him up.
I was one of the many he just floored and ran over.
Ah, The Rock.
I had to help
You
chip
smell.
in. Tell you what, that was pretty neat.
That was pretty
to see
neat.
that guy
And do you
on
remember
TV.
it?
Oh,
Do you remember playing
stood
against
out.
him and things like that?
You know what? I was up there to see a football game, Freedom in Parkland. Dr. Siggins' son plays for Parkland, so it was in that stadium, Bethlehem Stadium, and sure enough, they're playing Freedom, and it was like, took you back because the Freedom band was pretty amazing, and it was like the good old days.
That is, all right.
But he stood out he was the biggest and baddest player on that field that day, no doubt.
All right, so talking about memories, last question. In 20 years, 30 years, whenever Jason Kerkusz walks out, he retires, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want the kids to remember? What do you want them to say about you?
That's a good question. I would say that, I help make a difference in their lives. I think that is one of the biggest rewards that you get when you work with these kids, helping cultivate and bring them along, and, teaching them those little things that, make them well-rounded. And I often say, it's not about wins and losses in coaching. It's about, making a difference in their lives. And, when you're going to kids' weddings that you had, on the team or in class, and, seeing pictures of their families now, and I'm old enough now where I'm actually coaching some of their kids, and they always talk about, those stories. Are you still talking about this? Remember when you said that? I mean, that's the part that is pretty special. What did Coach Kerkusz care about me?
That's
Did he
awesome.
help make a difference? And
That's
I think
awesome.
that's the most important part about teaching and coaching.
Continue making a difference, brother.
I appreciate it.
Oh, man, he's making a difference every day. Make sure if you see Coach Kerkusz here, say hello. Maybe he'll draw you a nice animated picture. Until next time, I'm your host, Bill Colt. Thanks for joining us on Staff Connections.